But yes, the Brewers, they are playing really, really good baseball. They are rolling. I know they dropped that first game, but then they came back really strong behind Houser and his just perfect 3-hit shutout, or I'm not too sure how many hits, but he had a shutout, 9 innings against the Cardinals. And then we come back from behind with a huge comeback win with a grand slam to walk it off. The Brewers are playing really good baseball. The Reds are keeping up with the Padres for that second wild card spot. The NL playoff race is really intense. The Cardinals, they weren't too far from behind in the wild card race. So I know that they had come into this series hoping to really get some ground, gain some ground, I guess, on the Padres and the Reds, who I'm not too sure the standings currently, but I know that those two are battling it out for that second wild card spot. The Brewers, on the other hand, have a sizable division lead, and they are probably not stressing, and they shouldn't really, over this division. It is pretty much wrapped up, in my opinion. I know you don't ever want to talk about that too. It's officially wrapped up, but I don't think the Reds are going to win this division from the Brewers. But just looking at this past week and this past weekend, I guess, and the series that we had against the Cardinals, I have some thoughts, a couple of things I want to talk about. But just off the bat, what were some of your takes, I guess, or opinions on this game?
The series itself, like we said, you don't want to jump into Friday night. Like it's a one-off. It happens to teams. You look at the way that they came back yesterday, just a gutsy performance by Adrian Houser out there dealing. I mean, the guy, I was a little upset. I prefer my Adrian Houser to puke before the second inning at some point on the field, but that didn't happen. But he made up for it with the complete game shutout, the first one in 7 years. I saw the Brewers had the longest streak without a complete game shutout. I believe it was like 1,011 games or something like that. So wild that they went that long without one. Great to see them get one last night with Adrian Houser. And then today, I mean, I was one of those days, again, like you said, it's a comfortable lead. I'm not going to get too worked up about, one game here and there. And so I had some other stuff to do, and I was like, all right, 5-1, let's get some other stuff going here. And was sitting with one of my buddies, and he was like, dude, you're not going to believe this. I was like, all right. So it's good to see that comeback there.
Yeah, I was in the Target parking lot. I had to go pick up some stuff, and I was just listening to the game, and I parked. I was watching it on my phone, and I'm like, okay, let me just wait in the car. I had a kid. He was, I guess my wife is not listening to this, but he was screaming, kind of getting rowdy and fussy, and I'm like, look, you got to hang on a couple more minutes because this is getting good. We got to sit here and watch this out and watch this play out. So I was in there, the Target parking lot, for about 10-15 minutes watching this whole bottom of the ninth inning and the way it played out. And yeah, it was exciting to see. This team is very gutsy. It was a gutsy win. But before I talk about that, I just want to really jump off real quick and talk about Adrian Houser and what he's been able to do for this team. He's already has a season high 121 and a third innings. That is 10 innings more than his previous high at 111 and a third innings. He hit that in 2019. He's pitching really well for this team. And I know in the beginning of the season, there were some question marks about this team and about their pitching. We didn't know how good Freddie Peralta was going to be. We knew how good he could be and how the potential he had to be a very good pitcher. We didn't know if Brandon Woodruff can do again replicate what he did last season. As same thing for Corbin Burns, and all three of them have gone over their innings pitched this season, and they all look really, really good. And then he's really solidified this back end of the rotation with him and Brett Anderson and even Lauer at the end too, also kind of holding it down. We've been able to do a 6-man rotation, which Council is really good at that. All of our pitchers have. They've had a lot of rest throughout this season, and that puts them in a really good position come playoff time. And just looking at some of Adrian Houser's stats here, he's 8-6 with the 3.41 ERA. He's started 22 games. He has 93 strikeouts. His WHIP is 1.28. Not the he's not a top of the order rotation kind of guy, but he is a very solid fourth pitcher. And to be honest, like it's almost crazy how we have such good pitching from 1 all the way to 5. Even Brett Anderson, whenever he's not injured, which now it seems to be every other start. But like other than that, I mean, 1 through 5, 1 through 6, even we have a very, very solid rotation. And just seeing what Houser was able to do, go through 9 innings, shut out the Cardinals, only gave up a couple of hits. He looked really good. The first couple of innings, he had a lot of first strike called, and like that just set the tone. And he had a lot of strikeouts, had a lot of ground outs, which is kind of his game. And which kind of jumps into this next topic of Rowdy Tellez and the defense that he has had at first base. And first base has kind of been an issue for the last couple seasons. It's been a rotating door of random people. No one really really solidified that position. And when we traded for Rowdy Tellez, we knew that we were getting potentially an offensive player who can hit really, really far home runs, and he has potential to be a really good hitter. I did not expect him to be this good defensively, and just seeing the picks that he had last night against the Cardinals and the really short hop from Adames that saved an error on Adames, and there was another can't remember who threw that one, and then there was another, I think Houser threw him a ball and he was able to catch it. He is playing really, really good defense, and this team has really made an emphasis on the defense, signing Jackie Bradley Jr., signing Colton Wong. This team has been very solid defensively, and that's going to be so key heading into the postseason, because defense is really, really important, especially with pitchers like Anderson, Houser, even Brent Suter, who could be a ground ball pitcher at times. So just seeing what he has been able to offer us is really, really incredible.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on Adrian Houser, the way he's held down the back end of that bullpen, like you said, it's been a lot of 6-man rotation this year when they've been able to, which coming off of a short season last year, a lot of guys that would have hit a career high last year in innings pitched didn't. This year, Hauser's the 4th pitcher for us to do that, which they're all still looking pretty solid. Like you mentioned, aside from Brett Anderson, there hasn't really been a lot of injury issues with this rotation or the bullpen for that matter. I know we've lost a few guys here and there, but none of the really impact arms that we have out there. So it's nice to see them going along. As far as Houser getting up early in the count last night, he threw 100 pitches, 76 strikes. I mean, just in the zone all night, 3 hits that he gave up. Pretty phenomenal there. I think with Rowdy Tellez to move there, like you said, some of those picks he's making are phenomenal. It gives that infield the ability and the confidence, I think, to just let some of those balls go and see, hey, he can make it. We saw Urias earlier in the season, even up to a couple of weeks ago, having almost the yips throwing the ball around. And it was nice to see, he has the confidence to just throw the ball now, and Rowdy Tellez is going to make the play. These guys have a ton of confidence in there. He doesn't grade out well defensively. And I sometimes I don't figure that out, especially for first baseman. You would think that making the pick is like the most important thing over there, but they still look at their range and things of that nature, where if you've got Colton Wong playing second base, and as much as they shift, I don't know why you need a first baseman with range. Like, just let Colton Wong go get it, because he will. Make sure you're on the bag and receive the ball from him, and then spin it around the horn. Let's keep it going. So yeah. I think Tellez, especially as his bat's cooled off, we've really seen, a solidified answer at first base. Which, you look at some of the people that we've had over there this year, it's kind of been, Hira, Vogie, Shaw played some there. We had Jace Peterson over there. Eduardo Escobar's played there. It's just, it seems like, pretty much everybody on the team has played first base at some point or another. So it's nice that we've had somebody be able to hold that down consistently and be the everyday guy. Everyone's gotten familiar with him. It looks like that might be the answer over there, and it's nice that he's got a couple of years of arbitration left.
Yeah, and to your point, it gives the infielders confidence when they can throw over to him. We saw, like I said, he has saved them from a couple errors already just in the past weekend. Adames and Wong, they know that they throw it to him, he's going to get it. And that gives them so much more confidence to make that play. They don't have to rush the throw. I think it's going to be so big heading down into the postseason just because defense, like, it's really going to make or break. Like, we saw what defense could do in the wild card in 2019. It ruined it ended our season. Poor defense and an error there. And I know we saw an error today from Eduardo Escobar at third base, allowed 2 runners to score from the Cardinals. But that doesn't happen very often with this team, right? We have Jackie Bradley Jr., we have Colton Wong, even Christian Yelich is a very, very good outfielder. And then just adding Tellez at first base, it really just keeps this defense, this infield really, really solid defensively.